An unprecedented clash shakes Washington. President Trump has fired Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, accusing her of fraud. But Cook isn't stepping down. She vows to fight him in court. The battle isn't just about one woman. It's about the independence of America's central bank and the future of the US economy. Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook is set to sue President Donald Trump over her dismissal, a move that escalates his clash with the US central bank. President Trump argued there was sufficient reason to believe Lisa Cook misrepresented details about her mortgage, invoking constitutional authority as justification for her removal. The move, unprecedented in US history, comes as Trump intensifies pressure on the Federal Reserve, particularly Chair Jerome Powell, over what he views as resistance to cutting interest rates. Lisa Cook serves as one of the 7 governors on the Federal Reserve Board, which gives her a seat on the 12-member committee that sets US interest rates.
President Trump lacks the authority to remove Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. His attempt to fire her, based solely on a referral letter, lacks any factual or legal basis. We will be filing a lawsuit challenging this illegal action.
In a dramatic escalation of his ongoing clash with the Federal Reserve, Trump announced on August 26th that he was firing Cook, a move that legal experts and economists warn could set off a constitutional showdown over the independence of the US central bank. Cook, the first black woman to serve on the Fed's Board of Governors, was appointed by the former President Joe Biden in 2022 and given a 14-year term. From the start, she aligned with Chair Jerome Powell and most of her colleagues in supporting the Fed's recent decision to hold interest rates steady, arguing that steep tariff policies risk fueling inflation. That stance directly contradicted Trump, who for months has demanded rate cuts to stimulate borrowing, spur economic growth, and reduce the government's own financing costs. Trump's announcement late August 26th on his Truth Social platform alleged that Cook had committed fraud in mortgage applications several years before her Fed appointment. He accused her of signing contradictory declarations over homes in Michigan and Georgia, each marked as our primary residence for a full year. The allegations were originally publicized by Bill Polt, the Trump-appointed director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency.
The American people must be able to have full confidence in the honesty of the members entrusted with setting policy and overseeing the Federal Reserve. In light of your deceitful and possibly criminal conduct in a financial matter, they cannot and I do not have such confidence in your integrity.
Cook quickly rejected the move and vowed to challenge it in court.
President Trump purported to fire me for cause when no cause exists under the law, and he has no authority to do so. I will not resign. I will continue to carry out my duties to help the American economy as I have been doing since 2022.
Trump's intervention strikes at the heart of the Fed's unique status. The Federal Reserve Act of 1913 allows a president to remove a board member only for cause, a phrase historically understood to mean misconduct while in office, not controversies predating service. Members, once confirmed, are meant to serve staggered 14-year terms in order to safeguard monetary policy from partisan cycles. In May, the US Supreme Court upheld the president's authority to dismiss a National Labor Relations Board member without cause, but explicitly drew a distinction with the Fed, calling it a uniquely structured, quasi-private entity. That makes Trump's attempt unprecedented territory, and legal experts expect the courts may ultimately decide the matter, potentially at the Supreme Court. Fed Chair Powell, whose own term as chair ends in May, has endured a year of Trump's repeated insults, often being called too stupid and too political. The president has floated the idea of firing him as well, citing, among other complaints, Powell's oversight of a $2.5 billion renovation of the Fed's headquarters. With Cook's potential removal, Trump could further alter the balance of the Fed's 7-member board by replacing her with a loyalist more aligned with his agenda. Meanwhile, a wave of leading Democrats has blasted Trump's attempt to fire Cook, framing it as an assault on the central bank's independence. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer warned that Trump was playing a dangerous game of Jenga.
President Trump is playing a dangerous game of Jenga with a key pillar of our economy. By attempting to remove Cook and install a loyalist, he would shred the Fed's independence and put every American's savings and mortgage at risk.
Elizabeth Warren, the top Democrat on the Senate Banking Committee, called Trump's dismissal letter an authoritarian power grab that blatantly violates the Federal Reserve Act. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said there was not a shred of credible evidence Cook had committed wrongdoing, praising her historic role as the first black woman on the Fed board. He added that, to the extent anyone is unfit to serve, it is the current occupant of the White House. For lawmakers and economists, the principle at stake is bigger than Cook herself: whether the Fed can withstand direct political coercion without losing credibility. Financial markets greeted Trump's move with unease, but not outright panic. On August 26th, US Treasury bonds sold off, sending yields higher as investors priced in greater political risk surrounding America's central bank. European markets opened lower, and the dollar briefly lost ground against major currencies before recovering. Atakan Bakiskan, economist at Berenberg, put the question starkly.
Foreign investor confidence in the US has already fallen quite a bit. We can see that from the dollar falling and decoupling from the yield differentials since April 2nd, the Liberation Day, really. I mean, even though the US interest rates are so high compared to Europe, we really see the dollar-euro weaken substantially since April. So this type of weakening investor confidence is really going to increase more even if the Fed's independence is threatened, really.
Still, economists warn the broader implications could be profound. Ben Bernanke, when leading the Fed in 2010, famously cautioned that political interference could generate damaging boom and bust cycles and undermine financial stability. The battle over Lisa Cook's dismissal has become a defining test of the Federal Reserve's independence. Trump's attempt to oust her not only raises constitutional questions, but also unsettles financial markets, with investors wary of political intrusion into monetary policy. US Treasury yields rose as global markets digested the risks, underscoring how even slight erosion of trust in the Fed can reverberate worldwide. Cook remains defiant, vowing to fight in court while carrying out her duties. Analysts warn that the episode could mark a turning point, where central bank credibility collides with political ambition at historic scale.